The Civil War was a time of hope and sorrow for slaves. It was a war that would determine where they stood in their lives. Would the Confederacy win and secede, leaving them enslaved for the rest of their lives? Or would the Union win and grant them the freedom they so desperately longed for? There were slaves supporting both the Confederates and the Union during the war. Many slaves did not truly believe that a Confederate win would be righteous or at all to their benefit, but because they were forced to support and participate in the war effort. Many Southerners fighting in the war brought along slaves to do necessary jobs that Southerners felt were demeaning and were for those who were inferior. These included digging pit latrines, doing laundry, hauling supplies, and more. These slaves were on more intense and ever so constant surveillance due to such close and more easily accessible Union lines. This still did not stop a large number of slaves from escaping their masters and aiding the Union Army in defeating the Confederates and abolishing slavery throughout the United States of America. Most slaves brought to war sites deserted their owners at their first opportunity. Some slaves served as spies who exposed Confederate war plans. Others served as medical staff and laborers and as soldiers along with the free African Americans. Many of the people, both black and white, who worked to aid soldiers in case of an emergency were not trained or qualified, and some had insufficient supplies, no practice in the professions whatsoever, and had to make decisions on pure instinct or what they learned from others. Many slave owners and Confederate generals were reluctant when it came to sending their slaves to war and sending them on the battlefield because they did not want their valuable property lost and thought that putting a slave on a battlefield was offensive because it made them worthy enough to fight alongside white people. Even if sent to do manual labor on war sites, slaves would often be returned in bad condition from being overworked and mistreated, even more so than on the plantations. Slave owners resolved to sending only their most unruly and out-of-hand slaves. In the end, the Union won, and it was a time of rejoicing for the majority of the country, and a time of great devastation for the South. The Southerners' lives took a complete turn. How would they survive with no workers? How would they feed their families and keep up the luxurious life they took for granted for so long? All these questions would be answered in time. But there is a new era now. It is an era without slavery and the ownership of other people. A new time has begun.